Hello, West Ham Network. It's Holly. I hope you're all well. And I'm here with your Hammers headlines for today, Tuesday, the 31st of October. Happy Halloween as well, run in association with KUMB.com. Now, we are going to be running through some of today's top stories. So make sure you leave us a comment with your thoughts on everything that's going on at West Ham at the moment. Give this video a thumbs up. And if you're new around here, please do hit that subscribe button. So without further ado, let's jump straight into it. Up first, West Ham's joint chair Vanessa Gold has said that she may consider selling a proportion of her family's shares in the club. She said, "I would consider selling a proportion of our shares to the right partner. I've spoken to each of the other three major shareholders at West Ham United, David Sullivan, Daniel Kretinsky and Trip Smith, who have been very supportive. Any transaction to purchase some of our shares will be with my father's legacy at the forefront of my mind, which of course prioritises his beloved West Ham United. I've appointed Rothschild & Co. to advise us on any discussions and will keep the other shareholders of the club and our supporters updated on any significant developments." Now, the big question is, if this happens, first of all, who would be interested in buying the shares and what could this mean for the future of the club? Now, this has been something with the shares that's been discussed countless times over the years, but by the sounds of things, this would not be a massive percentage of the overall shares, thought to be 10% up for sale, meaning any outside investor would be a minority stakeholder and not somebody that could make significant or dramatic differences on their own. But as we know, being one of the shareholders also puts you in a great position to increase your share and launch a potential takeover should any of the other shareholders, Sullivan, Kretinsky or Trip Smith, choose to sell theirs. And that is where the bigger changes would be likely to then happen. Now, similarly, one of the current shareholders could also buy up Gold shares if this was something that they agreed to. And as it stands, David Sullivan has 39%, Kretinsky has 27%, Vanessa Gold holds 25.1%, Trip has 8% and others share 1.1% between them. It's obviously a very good thing to hear that Vanessa Gold won't just accept any offer for her dad's shares. And it sounds as though it has to be to the right partner. So hopefully that means that we'll be in good hands with whoever they do end up going to, should they be sold, obviously. The big question is, who could be seriously interested? So will existing shareholders increase their stakes given the growth of the value of the club that's continuously happening with all teams in the Premier League, to be honest? Or will an outsider investor join them? Up next, West Ham and David Moyes are unlikely to discuss any likelihood of a new deal, apparently until December, according to reporter Paul Brown. Now, he's saying that it will be closer to Christmas before the two sides start talking about Moyes' future. Brown said that although the club were pleased with the way that Moyes basically stopped us battling relegation and has won a European trophy, that they want to see big improvements in the Premier League this season, which will be music to many fans' ears, I'm sure. He added as well that over the next few weeks, this will be key to how the negotiations go, as we need to improve our form. So interesting to hear that it could go either way at this moment in time. I know a lot of people are very unhappy with Moyes being at the club. But like they said there, I think it is going to depend massively on the next few results, what the discussions will be in December, whether it will be getting rid of him or whether it will be even sooner. You never know. But yeah, interesting to hear that it could still go either way. One of the big stumbling blocks that we're currently facing is the way that we are setting up tactically against different opposition. We're struggling when we can't play a counter-attacking style of football, as well as some questionable squad rotation. So there's no denying that the pressure is definitely on Moyes now, and there will be the need for a very quick turnaround for positive negotiations to take place towards the end of the year. Otherwise, it may well be a very, very difficult and different discussion, and it may well be sooner than that. And finally, discussions are ongoing around Mubama's new contract. As most of you know, he has rejected the initial new contract and the 19-year-old's current deal expires in the summer of 2024, so not too far away. Mubama has been a bright talent that we've spoken about for a very long time, and his stats back this up. But unless we can turn things around with this deal, we're looking at risking losing him on a free transfer. I'm not overly concerned personally that he's knocked back the first contract. A lot of people do this, hence even with Bowen that wanted to secure his entire future at the club, it was an ongoing discussion and it was a back and forth. It wasn't just him saying yes to the initial offer. Looking at the facts, though, Mubama has a year to decide his future. He has only had 25 minutes of action this season, despite Ings and Antonio struggling and being prioritised. And simply put, he's in a position of power where he currently is. And he is sure to want game time before the January transfer window, when it sounds like our priority is to sign a new striker, which will inevitably push him further back in the pecking order for strikers. So I'm sure he wants to prove himself before that time and actually get game time to show what he can do. Otherwise, it does seem that his future may very much be limited, and he could be signing a deal to basically be a bench warmer for the next however many years. And any ambitious young player will want guarantees of game time. And it also looks likely that if we do renew his contract, he might then be sent out on loan, which comes with additional risks because many clubs say that they will play youngsters that they've got on loan. But there are very few guarantees, and often that doesn't end up playing out like that. So currently, he's got the option of either training with a Premier League first team and hopefully getting a look in, or maybe dropping down to the lower leagues on loan and potentially not even playing there. So it can't be an easy decision to make. And it's expected that these negotiations are going to continue for a while. Understandably, Mubama does want some assurances that he'll have opportunities at West Ham. I spoke about it in this afternoon's video if you want a little bit more of an in-depth look at it. But a huge part of securing this deal will ultimately rely on us giving Mubama game time and allowing him to continue to prove his worth. Now, it's also being reported that he may have recently switched agents, which is often what we see when a player basically starts to play hardball with the contract. New agents come in that have very little allegiances or ties to anyone and obviously want to maximise the value. They get a cut of any sales to a different club that they make. So quite often they come in and, encourage, especially young players, to make it more of a negotiation, which is understandable as well. The only question I do have is that it's being said that demands are crazily high, but this remains to be seen whether it's demands in terms of wages, guarantees in terms of game time, or a combination of everything. So the question is, could we be seeing another Sonny Perkins situation sort of rising, or is he just pushing back to get a fair deal? We'll have to stay tuned and find out with this one. It's going to be very interesting as well to see if he's included in the squad against Arsenal, as well as how much game time he's given if he is included. There is, however, one thing for sure. The coming months are going to be vital for Mubama's future at West Ham, because we're either going to play him, love him, and get a long-term contract in the works, or we're not going to even get this over the line and he's barely going to get a look in. So it'd be a real shame to lose such a talent when it feels like he's been just on the brink for such a long time, and there have been opportunities for us to play him, and there are still opportunities for us to play him. So here's hoping we can make that happen. So there we have it. Those are your Hammers headlines for today. Make sure you let us know your thoughts in the comments. And as always, please give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed this, and make sure you have subscribed. Let us know what you're thinking about all of this. There's a lot of stuff going on at West Ham. Lots of different opinions, lots of controversial opinions as well. So, want to know your thoughts. Pop them below. Don't just disappear silently. We want to know what you're thinking. So have a great day, whatever you are up to. And until next time, come on, you Irons.